Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Victor Brick, and welcome to January's edition of Uncle Vic. We start every Uncle Vic with a trivia question. And the trivia question from last month was, what is the highest unemployment rate in the history of the United States? The highest unemployment rate in the history of the United States was 23.6 in 1932. Now, our present unemployment rate is slightly less than 7%, so keep that in mind when you hear all this doom and gloom about the economy. And the trivia question for this month, the Baltimore Ravens play the Tennessee Titans on Saturday in the NFL playoffs, and the question is, what is a Titan? You can email your answers to what is a Titan to info@brickbodies.com. Now, many of you are probably setting New Year's resolutions or have set New Year's resolutions for 2009 or have set goals. And do you know the most important thing in accomplishing a goal? It's nothing but good old, simple, plain old perseverance. I received a neat book over the holidays about an individual that started from very humble beginnings and rose to become a very prominent figure in U.S. politics and became a very famous world figure. Maybe you've heard of him. In 1831, he tried his hand in business and had to file for bankruptcy. In 1832, he was defeated for his state's legislature. In 1834, he failed in business again and filed for bankruptcy. In 1835, his fiancée died. In 1843, he was defeated for Congress, and then again in 1846 and in 1848. In 1855, he was defeated for U.S. Senate. In 1856, he was defeated for U.S. Vice President, and in 1858, he was defeated again for Senate, and in 1860, he became the 16th President of the United States. His name? Why, Abraham Lincoln, of course. What many people don't know is that Abraham Lincoln was a self-taught lawyer. As a matter of fact, Abraham Lincoln taught himself how to read. No Harvard or Virginia Law School for him. And in the spring of 1860, with very little previous military experience, Abraham Lincoln taught himself how to be Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States during the most critical conflict in the history of the United States. And that is the topic of this book, Tried by War, Abraham Lincoln as Commander-in-Chief by James M. McPherson. Many people think that after Gettysburg in 1863, it was all downhill for the South and Union victory was assured. But in reality, Lincoln faced as many challenges after Gettysburg as before and was a decided underdog in the elections of 1864. It wasn't until General Sherman took Atlanta late in 1864 that the North again believed they could win the war and public sentiment turned in Lincoln's favor and he won the election easily. Now, if you remember your history, in the spring of 1865, General Lee surrendered to General Grant at Appomattox, thus ending the war. Through it all, Lincoln never wavered from his goals of first, reuniting the Union, and later in the war of emancipating the slaves. Not through the early defeats of the Army of the Potomac, not through his fumbling, stumbling generals, not through his disappointment at not destroying Lee's army after Gettysburg, and not after the reports of horrific casualties that came back from the front as Grant was attacking Lee later in the war. Many times Lincoln would fall into the depths of despair, but he would always rally himself, then his cabinet, then his party, then the army, and finally the public to his cause. No, he never wavered from his goals, and because of that, he is remembered as the greatest president in the history of the United States. By the way, this book was given to me by my good buddy Terry Woods. Terry's an old tennis buddy of mine and used to be the locker room attendant at the Pairing Racket Club, where I used to sneak in to play tennis because I couldn't afford a membership. Terry was a minority partner in a business that was about to go belly up, but Terry wouldn't have any parts of that, and through sheer hard work and determination, he was able to turn that business around and make it into a multi-million-dollar proposition. Yes, it is amazing what perseverance can do. Think about it. If a self-taught hayseed lawyer from Illinois can save the Union and a former locker room attendant can build a multi-million-dollar operation, just think what you can do. Now, we close every Uncle Vic with a thought for the day. And this month's thought for the day is, always remember that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any one thing. Abraham Lincoln. So until next month, so long from good old Uncle Vic.